I get hit with the misogyny cudgel quite a bit. Yeah, I mean, a week doesn't go by that I don't get at least, I don't know, half a dozen comments from women saying that I'm a misogynist pig. Yes, you're a misogynist pig. Ah! I actually find it funny as fuck, okay? Because I love women. I think that they're adorable. I think that they're cute. I think that they're funny. I think that they are just adorable, the shit that they do. Yeah, it's so unpredictable. I'm as far as I can imagine from a misogynist. I mean, I like women. I mean, if you tell me that there's a chance for me to be in a room full of guys or be in a room full of women, irrespective of the age, I mean, they could be like a bunch of elderly ladies, right? I'd go for the women. Yeah, the elderly ladies, yes, absolutely. If you tell me it's a bunch of guys that are like really cool, and a bunch of elderly ladies playing bingo, I'll pick the elderly ladies playing bingo. Yeah, because they're much more fun. They're much more fun. They're adorable. They know the social cues, unlike a lot of asshole guys who can't interact socially worth a damn. Yeah. But it's more than that. I mean, it's not that I want to just fuck women, right? I like them because they're so unpredictable. Yeah? I like them because they are a slave to their emotions. And that's the thing. That's the secret to women. They are a slave to their emotions. And I understand that. I understand that. And I don't begrudge them that. And you shouldn't either. But see, precisely because I understand women, precisely because I understand how they are ruled by their emotions, and I talk about that, I make videos about it, that's why I'm called misogynist, yeah? Because I do a video about what are the things that women are frightened of. Does that mean that I hate women? No, I'm just pointing out what they are afraid of. I make a video about, say, damaged women who are just bad news, and that will be a nightmare insofar as a relationship is concerned. Am I hating on women? No, I'm just pointing out that women who exhibit X, Y, and Z qualities will likely be damaged and therefore horrible girlfriend material or wife material. Because I understand them. To understand something does not mean that you hate it. On the contrary, to understand something, to understand it profoundly, almost at an intuitive level, and be interested in that thing, whatsoever that thing may be. It's not an expression of hatred for that thing. On the contrary. But see, it's women who use this label of misogyny. Women and white knights, beta orbiter fuckheads who just want to get in good with girls and will say whatever is necessary to get in their good graces, right? See, those are the people who call me misogynist. They call me misogynist because, the women especially, they don't want to face these flaws that I'm pointing out. Or more to the point, they don't want to face the fact that they are predictable. Yeah, because if you understand something, you can make it predictable, right? If you understand something or some group of people, you can predict what they are going to do and get ahead of them. Yeah, and be there, be where the puck is going to be, yeah, and get full advantage of the situation. And women don't like that. Nobody likes that, of course. Nobody likes to be thought of as predictable. Nobody likes to feel as if some stranger will know what you're going to do before you do it. But the thing is, see, women, because they are ruled by their emotions, they are that predictable. You see? A woman, precisely because she cannot overcome her emotions and set them aside the way men can, well, precisely because of that, they will react emotionally, and all emotions are always the same because human beings don't change. We always, when we react to emotions, we always react in such predictable ways. That's why we read novels, so that we can read and learn of these very predictable ways. People are unpredictable when they act rationally, because their rational preferences are not so obvious to an outside observer. But a lot of times an emotional reaction is going to be very obvious to an outside observer, and so you're going to be able to tell what they're going to do. What the fuck am I talking about? Understanding women is not misogyny. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You know who are the real misogynists? You know who really hate women? The men who hate women? The men who don't understand women and make no effort to understand women. Those are the ones who really hate women. Yeah, because see, only somebody who really cares about a woman is going to try to understand her and understand her way of thinking. Yeah, only a man who truly wants to be around women is going to make the effort to figure them out. But a man who hates women, I mean, who really hates women, who just finds them awful for whatever reason, whatever hang-ups he might have, he's not going to try to understand them. No, not at all. And in point of fact, that guy, the real misogynist, the guy who really hates women, right? He is going to reduce women to almost cartoons, caricatures of who they really are. I mean, a guy like that, a guy who really is a misogynist and does not like women at all. You know, he's going to say things that are like, oh, like women are all superficial and they only care about looks. Who would say that? A misogynist, not a guy who actually likes women, right? A guy who's a misogynist, what else is he going to say? He's going to say stuff like, women only care about a guy's bank account, which is demonstrably untrue. Okay, it's demonstrably untrue, but no, they're not going to care. I mean, these misogynists, the real misogynists, they are not going to care about that. They are not going to look at the evidence because they don't like women, and so they're going to spout bullshit about women and hatred about women. Why? So that they attract other misogynists like them. Yeah, it's the misogynists who are going to be talking about women as if they are cartoon characters, completely divorced from reality. And it's the misogynists who are going to bay as loudly as possible about women and how awful they are and blah, 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 precisely so that they get other men like them on their side and they don't feel so alone. Now, I feel sorry for misogynists. Yeah, I mean real misogynists, like the one I just described, right? Because these guys, they will never understand the pleasure of being with a woman. And I'm not talking about fucking her. I'm talking about being with a woman in the company of a woman and being surprised by what they say. They're going to be with other guys. They're going to refuse the company of women. And they will have a very, how could I put it? I don't want to say narcissistic, but a mirror life, you know? Because guys, we're predictable, okay? And because we're predictable, or at least I find us predictable, right? Because of this, when I hang out with guys, I know what they're going to say. It's like looking at a mirror. I know what they're going to say. I know their motivation. I know what they're insecure about. You know, I know it at that very moment as it's happening. And it's fucking boring, yeah? I mean, that's why I like women, because they are like guys, but ever so slightly different. You know, the color shifted a little bit to the right. You know what I mean? It's just a little bit different. Enough of a difference that's fascinating. Yeah? That's why I like them. But misogynists, they'll never know that pleasure. And that's why I feel sorry for them. They're only going to hang out with guys. They're going to eschew the company of women. And their lives will be less full of color because of it. Now, it's tempting to be a misogynist. It's tempting to climb up into a treehouse and put up a sign saying, no girls allowed. Yeah, it's tempting, right? Especially when you're not successful with girls. Especially when it just doesn't come easy. And you go from failure to failure with a woman, trying to get a woman into your life, sexually speaking, of course, right? And you fail at that, and you've got plenty of girlfriends, of friends who are women, right? But you're not getting laid, and so that frustration, yes, I understand, it's tempting. It's tempting to become a misogynist. It's tempting to climb up into the treehouse and say no girls allowed. It's tempting to turn your back on them. But it's a mistake. It's a mistake. Because there's so much beauty in women. They're so fascinating. Huh? And once you understand them, and it takes a while, okay? And game can help. I always say, study game. But once you get good at getting girls and start understanding women, you'll find that they're like this kaleidoscope. Yeah? And this unpredictability of theirs is lovely, and it gives you how can I put it? It puts a spring in your step. Yeah. So don't fear trying to understand women. On the contrary, try to understand them. Try to understand them and learn lessons from them. You know, watch how they behave and take the lessons that you can from their actual behavior. And don't worry if some woman says, oh, you're a misogynist or this or that or the other. No, because if they start saying that to you, it's because, you know, you're hitting the mark. Yeah, there's that saying that, you know, a pilot gets the most flack when he's right over the target. Exactly, okay? When you start talking about women and they start saying, oh, you're a misogynist, you're this, that, the other, then you're more likely accurate, okay? Yeah. But remember, women are not all bad things. On the contrary, there are good things and bad things, okay? They are at the extremes just like men are. See? We have great qualities and we have horrible defects, okay? The trick is, of course, to elevate the virtues and subsume the defects.